Imagine the scene, if you will. The changing room is quiet, the tension is palpable, and the team sheet is about to be pinned up. We aren't looking at the faces of the players just yet, we are looking at the shape of the team. For months, we have seen a specific silhouette on the pitch, a lone figure leading the line, battling against the odds, supported by a cast of creative midfielders. But something is shifting in the air around the racecourse. There is a murmuring, a whisper that has started in the stands and is now making its way into the analysis studios. It's not a scream of panic, but a hum of curiosity. Something very intriguing is happening with our front line.
Picture the last match against Leicester City. The floodlights reflecting of the wet turf, the physicality of the encounter. We saw a change. We saw a decision that raised eyebrows, not because it was wrong, but because it left a weapon holstered on the bench, a weapon that had been firing hot for 3 consecutive games. The question isn't just about who starts, it's about the philosophy of the attack itself. We are looking at a puzzle where the pieces don't seem to fit the current frame, yet if you rearrange the edges, you might just find a masterpiece hiding in plain sight. We are talking about a potential evolution in the Red Dragon's DNA, a shift from the solitary warrior to a partnership that echoes the great attacking duos of football history. It is a tactical dilemma that Phil Parkinson, our gaffer, is currently wrestling with. The evidence is mounting, the pundits are talking and the numbers are staring us right in the face. It's a situation that feels inevitable, almost magnetic. 2 players, 2 different styles, 1 common goal. We are standing on the precipice of a tactical tweak that could define the rest of our season. It's not about fixing something that's broken, it's about unlocking a level of potency we haven't fully unleashed yet.
Let's get into the thick of it. We need to talk about what happened on Tuesday night. The atmosphere was electric, as it always is when a side like Leicester City comes to town. It's the championship, it's the big stage, and the margins are razor thin. When the team news dropped, there was a collective intake of breath among the Wrexham faithful. We saw the return of the big man, Kieffer Moore. Now nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to complain about having a striker of his calibre back in the starting 11. The man is a colossus, but his return came at a price. That price was Sam Smith. The 27-year-old, the former Reading man, found himself back among the substitutes. And you have to look at this with a critical eye, because Smith wasn't dropped due to poor form, quite the opposite. He was the man with the hot hand. He had been the spark that kept the fire burning while Moore was sidelined. So when the whistle blew for the draw against Leicester, there was this lingering thought at the back of everyone's mind. What if? It's a fascinating problem to have, isn't it? Usually a manager is scratching his head trying to find one striker who can hit a barn door. Here, Parkinson has 2 who are proving their worth in very different ways. The draw against Leicester wasn't a disaster, far from it, but it highlighted the rigid structure we sometimes adhere to. Moore came in, he battled, he fought, he occupied the centre-halves as only he can. But Smith sat there, watching, waiting. It's that classic footballing tragedy where form meets hierarchy. Moore is the established number 1, the summer signing, the Welsh international. Smith is the challenger who stepped up. The dynamic between these two isn't one of rivalry, I don't think. It feels more like a missed connection. Watching that game, you couldn't help but wonder if the solution wasn't one or the other, but something else entirely. Something bolder.
Now, I'm not just pulling this theory out of thin air. This isn't just fan speculation from the pub after a few pints. This is coming from someone who knows exactly what it means to wear the shirt and lead the line. Iwan Roberts, the former Wales striker, has been analysing this situation, and his comments on the Feast of Football podcast this week have really struck a chord. He's looking at this with the eyes of a striker, someone who understands the loneliness of the role and the joy of having a partner in crime. Roberts isn't one to mince his words, but he's been very constructive here. He's suggesting that Phil Parkinson needs to find a way, perhaps a new way, to accommodate both talents. He said, and I quote, "The way Wrexham play, 5 at the back, I think they could play both, and it would benefit them both. They would complement each other. That word, complement, it's the key to everything. It's not about shoving two players onto the pitch and hoping for the best. It's about chemistry. It's about the yin and the yang of the forward line. He went on to say, I think Kieffer and Sam Smith, the old-fashioned big man, little man combination, would work really well for Wrexham. When you hear a phrase like old-fashioned, don't think outdated. Think classic. Think timeless. Roberts is identifying a synergy that is currently being wasted. He's watching the Red Dragons and seeing a potential that is being stifled by a rigid formation. It's a compelling argument. When a striker of Roberts' pedigree says two lads would work really well together, you have to sit up and listen. He sees the attributes, he sees the movement, and he sees the goals that are left on the table.
Let's break down the components of this proposed machine. First, we have the returning hero, Kieffer. Since joining from Sheffield United last summer, he has been nothing short of a revelation for us. 12 goals, that is a serious return in the Championship. He has been the focal point, the battering ram, the man who gives us an out ball when the pressure is on. He is the quintessential target man, but he's got more in his locker than just headers. Moore brings a physical dominance that terrifies defenders. When he's on the pitch, the opposition centre-backs know they are in for a war. He occupies space, he draws fouls, and he allows the team to breathe. That's why he's been the first choice. That's why Parkinson went straight back to him against Leicester. You don't leave a 12-goal striker on the bench in a big game if he's fit. It's against the laws of football logic. However, Roberts made an interesting point about Moore's style. He noted that Big Kieffer works the channels well, but there's a caveat. Is that really where we want him? Do we want our towering number 9 drifting out wide, chasing lost causes in the corners, or do we want him in the box, dominating the 6-yard area? Moore's success this season has come from his ability to be the anchor. But even an anchor needs a ship to move around it. At times, playing as the lone striker, he can become isolated. He can be surrounded by 3 defenders with no one to flick the ball onto. That's the limitation of the single striker system, no matter how good the individual is, and Moore is very, very good.
Then we have Sam Smith, the man who has forced this conversation. At 27, the ex-Reading forward is in the prime of his career. And let's be honest, he has been absolutely clinical. Before the Leicester game, he had scored in 3 consecutive Championship matches. You cannot buy that kind of confidence. In football, momentum is everything, and Smith had it in buckets. Roberts highlighted the difference in quality Smith brings. He's got more pace. Big Kieffer works the channels well, but I think Sam Smith does it better. That is a crucial distinction. Smith offers a dynamism that stretches defences in a way Moore doesn't. He runs in behind, he harasses the backline with speed, and he offers a different type of threat. When Smith is on the pitch, the opposition cannot just sit deep and wrestle, they have to be wary of the ball over the top. They have to worry about his movement in the half spaces. He's not just a backup, he's a proven goal scorer at this level. To drop a player who has scored 3 in 3 is a massive call. It sends a message, perhaps the wrong one, that hierarchy matters more than current form. Smith has shown he has the hunger and the ability to lead the line for Wrexham. But right now, he's viewed as the alternative, the plan B, rather than a partner. And that is where the frustration lies. Not just for him, but for those of us watching who can see the potential for something greater.
So, how do we fit them both in? This is where the tactical analysis gets deep. Parkinson loves his system. He loves his 2 number 10s. As Roberts pointed out, Phil likes 2 number 10s. He likes Josh Windass, Nathan Broadhead, or Lewis O'Brien. This is the structure that has brought us success. It provides defensive solidity and control in the middle of the park. To play 2 strikers, you have to sacrifice one of these creative pivots. Roberts suggests, I think you could turn around and just have one of those in behind 2 centre forwards. This is the gamble.
It means moving from a 5-2-2-1 to something more like a 5-2-1-2. It means losing a body in the creative midfield zone to add the body in the finishing zone. It's a bold move. It asks a lot of the remaining number 10, whether that's Windass, Broadhead or O'Brien, to link the play single-handedly. But consider the reward. Defences in the Championship are used to dealing with lone strikers. They are drilled for it. They know how to double up. But two strikers, that causes chaos. It forces the opposition fullbacks to tuck in, leaving space for our wingbacks. It forces the centre-halves to go man for man, leaving them with zero cover. It's high risk, yes, because we might lose some control in midfield, but it's high reward. It's about changing the equation from how do we control the game to how do we hurt them more than they hurt us. Roberts is essentially calling for Parkinson to be brave, to trust that Moore and Smith can cause enough damage to justify losing a midfielder. Let's visualise this perfect combination Robert is dreaming of. The big man, little man dynamic is a tale as old as time because it works. It's basic physics and biology. You have Moore, the giant, winning the aerial duels, holding off the defenders, being the wall. And you have Smith, the raptor, buzzing around him, picking up the knockdowns, running into the spaces Moore creates. Roberts noted, they can't be as direct when Sam Smith is up front on his own. They have to get different quality up to him. This is true. With Smith alone, we have to play through the lines. With Moore alone, we can go long. But with both, we can do everything. We become unpredictable. We can launch it to Moore, who flicks it on for Smith to run onto. Or we can play it into Smith's feet, who lays it off for Moore to smash home. They would benefit both, as Roberts says. Moore wouldn't have to run the channels, he could stay central and dominate. Smith wouldn't have to fight 6'4" defenders in the air, he could focus on poaching and running in behind. It's a symbiotic relationship. They cover each other's weaknesses and amplify each other's strengths. It's the kind of partnership that gives opposition managers sleepless nights. It turns Wrexham from a team that is hard to beat into a team that is terrifying to play against. It's about aggression. It's about stating our intent to the rest of the league.
We are looking ahead to Saturday now. A trip to Loftus Road to face Queen's Park Rangers. This is the moment. The fixtures are coming thick and fast, and we need points. We need to turn draws into wins. The draw against Leicester was respectable, but we want more. We have the Hollywood owners, we have the global attention, but on the pitch, it comes down to these 90 minutes. Roberts believes the Red Dragons could start with Moore and Smith up front. It's a challenge to the gaffer. Will Parkinson stick to his guns, stick to the system that is safe and familiar, or will he look at the weapons in his arsenal? A 12-goal giant and a striker who scored 3 in his last 3 starts and decide that it's time to pull the pin on the grenade. It's intriguing. It's exciting. It's exactly the kind of debate that makes football the beautiful game. We aren't demanding reckless abandonment of defence. We're asking for the potential of a devastating attack to be realised. Kieffer Moore, Sam Smith, together. It's a combination that screams goals. It's a combination that screams Wrexham. Let's see if the gaffer is ready to unleash the double trouble on QPR. Because if he does, and if it clicks, we might just look back on this week as the moment the season truly ignited. Come on, you Reds!